More news now from Essex, Norfolk and Suffolk, and tributes have been paid to the latest soldier based in our region to be killed in Afghanistan. Craftsman Anthony Lombardi, who was 21, was killed on Tuesday in an explosion. He was attached to the Light Dragoons based at Swanton, Morley in Norfolk. He leaves a one-year-old son and a fiancée. His family described him as a talented, wonderful and popular person.
Poultry giant Bernard Matthews has announced plans for further redundancies. The firm's begun consultations and expects to cut 44 posts among its 2,000-strong workforce. The cuts will affect staff at its head office at Great Witchingham in Norfolk and its factory at Holton in Suffolk. It's the second round of job losses at the firm following 130 redundancies in January. Now, when keen angler Roy Hart decided to clean up a polluted river, he thought he was doing a public service and helping to improve the environment.
But after hauling more than 100 tyres out of the River Crouch in Essex, he was shocked to find that he faced paying the bill to get rid of them. Here's Tom Barton's report.
As the River Crouch runs through the Memorial Park in Wickford, it's a clean, babbling brook teeming with wildlife. But a few weeks ago, it was a very different picture.
We got nearly a tyre, 30 or 40 tyres out of this one section. Ram full of tyres, yes.
The river was overflowing with tyres and other rubbish. Roy Hart and his friends took it upon themselves to clean it up. They ended up with a trailer full of tyres, around 100 of them. But Mr. Hart couldn't find anyone to take them off his hands. Both Basildon District Council, which owns the park, and the Environment Agency denied it was their responsibility to dispose of the tyres.
The message is wrong. If it's not the council, it's the EA who have responsibility. It's one or the other. There's no one else.
And so the message that's sending out to people who do go and do good deeds like the one you've done is actually you could be landed with a big bill, isn't it?
I tell them, morally, if there is kind of pollution in a river of old tyres or an eyesore, clean it up, sort the consequences out later on, and try and make them so embarrass the authorities they have to collect the tyres themselves.
He did manage to embarrass the authorities. Basildon District Council has now offered to collect the tyres, in their words, as a goodwill gesture. Mr. Hart says there's parts of the river, though, which still need cleaning. The local council has promised to work with him in future. Tom Barton, Anglia News at Wickford in Essex.
People in a Suffolk town say their life's being made unbearable by a flock of 300 seagulls.
Householders and businesses in Beccles want them culled because they say the gulls' screeching and mess is driving them mad. Natalie Gray has more.
If you don't have to live with them, they're an impressive sight. Up to 300 herring gulls screeching as they swoop and dive over this derelict factory site in Beccles. But if you do have to live with them, well, some people are at their wits' end.
Well, it's the noise for a start. That's constant. We get it from 3 o'clock in the morning on all day.
I just think that's a hygiene, really. Yeah, my daughter's trampoline is covered. Several times I have to get the washing in and re-wash it. That's just, and the noise, you can have your windows shut and you can still hear them day and night.
As far as I'm concerned, they're a rat of the sky and we need to get rid of them.
Shirley Schwartz can only sit out in her garden for a few minutes at a time.
They make a lot of mess, they make a lot of noise, we can't sleep, they wake us up at night. We just want them gone.
Peter Finch is tired of cleaning his car.
4:30, 5:30 in the morning, they start up, wake the kids up, they mess all over the cars. It's getting beyond a joke now. I'm just totally fed up with it.
And businesses are being targeted too.
We're trying to deliver this one hopefully today or tomorrow, and that's the state it's in, so it's going to have to be all cleaned again. So we're doubling up on cleaning.
The noise is one thing, but it's actually quite scary. I do feel a bit like Tippi Hedren in Alfred Hitchcock's horror, The Birds.
So can the gulls be culled? The answer is yes if there is a public health or safety issue, but it can only be by special licence and must be with the permission of the landowner. And there's more bad news for local residents.
Actually, in population terms, their numbers have declined by about 40% in the last 30 to 40 years, and that's quite an astonishing drop. They've now moved on to the red list of conservation concern, which is quite a high risk level for us, really.
But locals say it's they who are suffering, not the gulls. Natalie Gray, Anglia News, Beccles.
A Norfolk school for children with special needs has won a lottery grant of £10,000. Hall School in Old Catton near Norwich will use the money to fund outdoor learning as part of the Forest Schools programme. It'll pay for staff training, environmental areas and construction of a wheelchair-friendly pathway linking the school to its woodland grounds.
Working outdoors and being outdoors when you're learning is such a creative aspect of learning for children, but we don't have the ability for the children in wheelchairs to access that aspect of learning within our playground, so we wanted to make it accessible for all.
Police and fire services are trying to find out what caused a blaze at a pub in Essex last night. Firefighters were called to the Spread Eagle in Margaretting near Chelmsford just before 10:30. The first floor and the roof were well alight, causing part of the building to collapse.